Hello everyone, this is George Strachilis. Okay, I'd like to give an executive summary first of what you need to know. So there's three things happening with this online course. Number one, if you want to be a team leader, and I suggested team leaders, we need them desperately, but you don't want to do the online course, that is fine. You will, I'll be chatting with you and seeing exactly what your aspirations are. And then when we have a meeting of the minds, I'll give you some area of responsibility because we need everybody to own some real estate at the company and make it a zone and help us bring in routines and many different techniques that we're going through. So we need a team leader for every area: the hygienist, the front area, the operatories. So all of that has to be done. Now, for those interested in the online course, there's two ways to do this online course. Number one, register as a green belt, which means you have to go to leanleadership.guru and register. Yes, very good. We'll do it later. Hello, hello, hello.
Good morning. I'm technologically challenged some days.
Well, I can tell you right now, I taught my mom how to use WhatsApp. So I'm awesome as a teacher, apparently. Don't worry about it. And she keeps on sending me messages every day because she was in Greece. She was going to England for my daughter's wedding.
Okay.
Yeah, and I said, when you get to the airport, you got to WhatsApp me because, you're not going to have a phone. And she did it. She did it. But I told her, we need to practice 2 months before. I need to feel confident that every day you can do it. And she's still doing it a year later. So,
Good for her.
yeah.
How old is she?
She's, how old am I? 53. She's 73.
Okay.
She had me young. I'm the firstborn child.
Yeah, me as well. My parents were the same. I got me here younger than you, so. But my dad is 73 this year.
Yeah, so don't worry about technology. Don't worry about it. We'll get to it.
I'll learn it.
Whether it's Skype, whether it's Zoom, it doesn't matter. All platforms are used, and WhatsApp, for sure. We need to learn WhatsApp, but I also will get, I'll either teach you myself or I'll get somebody else to teach you if you don't.
I do use WhatsApp a little bit more now.
Good.
So,
We're going to be using it every day.
Yeah.
It'll be our daily diary, like a personal one between you and I. Okay.
Okay.
So what I thought I would do is, I'm looking at you directly. I'm also going to look at this camera because I got the camera rolling now. When it comes time to talk to the rest of the group and share with them what I'm sharing with you. So, I know you'll feel a little disconnected, but, Okay, awesome. And I believe I'm recording. Yes, I am. And we're ready to go. Okay, welcome, Michelle.
Okay.
Good morning. So you're interested in the online course. Awesome. And it's available for everybody that is interested in learning and helping us grow at Cholakis Dental. Now, when I say helping us grow, I don't mean revenue. What I mean is human resource thinking and development. We've got so many things we got to do, and our thinking has to be different. We can't do it the old way, the same way we always used to, because it's not getting done. Okay.
Right.
Beautiful. So that said, let me share with you a little bit of the problem that I had. Maybe it's a share screen. I'm going to share my screen, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you should be able to see my screen now. Am I right?
I just see a giant me. Oh, there we go. Yes, okay.
Okay. So let's start at the top, and the course is really offered because we're trying to solve a problem, and we're answering the question of what's in it for me. Okay, so how do you get people engaged in something if you're not able to answer what's in it for them? It's kind of like a human, it's a human issue. So what I did with John is I wanted John to learn a skill called meditation for starters. We're still on that skill, okay? And then I said, get everything out of your head. You'll be a much happier person. So we started writing things down, and Vasilis too, not Bill, I'm going to call him Vasilis, Papadopoulos, yeah, Vasilis too. So as we were listing all the things we need to do, it became pretty evident as I created this list, and there's more. There's another 3 projects now on this list in the time that I created it a week ago. All these projects are just not getting done. And the more we add, the more that doesn't get done. We're at that stage in life where ask for whatever you like, Dr. Cholakis. It's just not getting done because we're overwhelmed, right? Okay. But it has to get done. It has to get done. So one of the things, the go-to habit for John is hard work. And the guy, I love him. He's the hardest working guy I know. I wish I had employees in the past that were half as hardworking as he is. But that's the wrong problem to solve.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem to solve is how do we engage more and more people in helping us fix what not is wrong necessarily, fix what we need to become better and better and better and better. Okay, so here's the list of projects, and one of those projects, you're a hygienist, right, Michelle? Yeah. Is standardize the hygiene process. That's what I got here, standardize the hygiene process. So if I highlight this in yellow, that's one of the projects. Great. Maybe you choose a project, but let's start at the top. If you want to become a green belt and you want the certificate, there's 2 categories of people here. You want the certificate or you don't care about the certificate. Those that want the certificate should register for the online course, and over the next week or 2, after training session 1, they need to pick a project, and whoever is their team leader, maybe I'm your team leader, maybe somebody else is your team leader, like for coaching and developing, I'll most likely take everybody on. That team leader says, that's a great project. Wonderful, let's do it together. And you're going to learn about real life improvement that you can apply no matter where you go. And at the same time, you're going to learn, you do some book learning. And the book learning, if everybody's interested, is kind of like this book, right?
Okay.
Okay. It's called Developing Lean Leaders at All Levels. And that is the course itself as well. Okay. So that said, we need to pick a project if you're interested in the green belt. If you're not interested in the green belt, then you are on a yellow belt path, which means you're still going to be looked at as far as a team leader and your development, but you just don't want to work on a project. You don't have the time to do it, but you're going to be very supportive of all the initiatives we got, and you may be a team member on another project. Wonderful. So you, as a discount, if anybody starts with their green belt and they don't do the work, they can become a yellow belt. But if you're starting off as a yellow belt, it's hard for me then to give you a project and for you to become a green belt, 4 or 5 weeks into it, because you'll have missed out on an opportunity. Okay, and then we have like somebody like Cindy, who's one of the other busiest people I know. Wonderful. Cindy has one project on this list because we were just not asking her, like, what are the things. She may have 10 projects she's got on the go. But between Vasilis and John and I, we don't know what are Cindy's priorities. So she's got standardized administrators process. We need scripts. Awesome. Thank you, Cindy. She needs to know she's got that. And since she's working on a project, she might as well go for her green belt. Now, what does that mean? A green belt or a yellow belt, it means about 2 hours of video watching every week. And there's quizzes for 8 weeks. So it's about 22 hour course with quizzes and getting 80, 90% on the quizzes or better would be good. Even if it's 70, 75, I'll still pass you. And you'll have a learning management system you're going into, which means it's an actual course. So where's the course? I'll just answer some basics. if we, let me see if I can find it again. I'm going to take you off the share.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know if I can find it now. Yeah. Testing 1, 2. Okay, I'm still recording. Okay, so I'm going to cut this whole area out. I'm gonna get you to ask questions, and the questions you ask, I'm just going to shorten them if I can. Put it in a video, and it'll be a nice video for everybody. And hopefully they have all their questions answered. This way, I don't have to do an hour meeting with everybody.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
It's hard when you say about 3 questions because I do not. What you're saying and what you're offering is exactly what is required, not just at that clinic, it's all across the board. So, I mean, people do things the same way and expect different results, and that's sort of the definition of insanity. So we need to change and move forward. So I'm very interested in all of it.
Well, you know, what you're saying is really, really important. There's MBA courses that are not as effective as what we're going to learn. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of important. Let me just. Oh, there you are. Okay, good. I'm just going to put you on my screen. Okay, let's do a Q&A. Let's do a quick Q&A on the questions you would have on the course, because I think everybody else would have the same questions. And if you look at the website leanleadership.guru, I'll let everybody scroll through it. I need everybody to register. I'll guide them, you know, to the link that they need to register. The process is as follows. It's interesting now because I developed with Perry Thompson, a friend of mine who was a student of mine, who became a black belt, who then became a master black belt. I developed with him something called P4, and we're going to learn that. It's 4 Ps. Number 1, you got to be able to describe the process. If you can't describe the process, you just don't know the process. And if you don't know the process, then I don't know why you're trying to improve something. So anyways, we're going to get to all the P4s, but here's the process simply put for how we're going to register people. Number 1, I'm going to show everybody the video, and they're going to hopefully get all their questions answered. And when they're ready, they go register at leanleadership.guru. I'll send everybody the link by email. When they register, John's going to make a payment for the entire group, and after that payment is done, because it doesn't go to me, it goes to them. After that payment is done, everybody gets their registration turned on. Then they'll be able to go in and do the course. Every week, we want to then have a weekly meeting and get in groups of available times and review the course. So chapter 1 is reviewed after week 1, chapter 2 after week 2. We've got 8 chapters, 8 weeks. We might stretch it to 9 because chapter 2 is on problem solving and it's difficult to do it in 1 week. Okay. That said, there's 9 weeks of learning. Every week we're going to review the chapter. Every day everybody's going to start doing a daily diary. Awesome. Daily diary. What did you learn? And the team leaders, because I want everybody to be a team leader here, are going to encourage improvement. Little improvements every day. Okay. You know, a little improvement is, I'm talking little. At the front, it was Christiana. I believe her last name is Cholakis. I did not know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did not know. And I said, Christiana, is there anything we can do to improve? And she said, yeah. The face masks keep on falling out. People are pulling on them and they fall out because the opening is too wide. And I said, well, what can we do about that? Or maybe more direct, what could you do about that? She said, well, I could put cardboard to prevent the face mask from falling out. And she did. It was a great job. That was it. Little improvement, 1 a day, And you as a team leader would be encouraging that at Cholakis Dental. What we're going to create in the next 2-3 months is a plethora. I don't like using big words. A huge amount. Yeah, yeah, I know one big word. John beats me for his lexicon, so he knows more words than I do. Anyway, a plethora of change and improvements by everybody and enabling their brain. We hired their hands, but we really want their brains, okay? So that's the key, and this is so important. Now, back to process. After everybody encourages improvement as a leader, they're done in 9 weeks, they get their yellow belt if they do great on the quizzes, right? That's it. That's their yellow belt. It's super important. That's it. 9 weeks, you should have a yellow belt. The green belt is another 2 months of doing a project. We're going to have to pick a project.
Okay.
Okay. So now, great time for you to ask questions about the course, what we're doing. This is world class, and I got to say that when you look at the consulting fees of 32,000 US dollars a day for doing training, that's me, that you guys are getting a lot of value at Cholakis Dental. And what does that mean? I'm actually looking at staying at Cholakis Dental permanently. Right? Okay. So I want to work with you guys forever. So whether I'm working part-time or whether I'm working full-time, I guess that's the question right now. And it all depends on the people. Do we have people who actually care about being excellent? Do you care about safety? Do you care about the things that are important? Because if you care, I know we can do something about it. If you don't care, well, I don't want to be talking to you too much, because I'll let you know I don't feel you care.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so first, I think you're there 2 days a week, right?
Normally. Right now I'm there full-time until August.
Nice. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
We can get a lot done.
Sorry?
We can get a lot done in that time.
Oh, for sure. Because I work at the university at the grad area department. That's what my day job is. And then 2 evenings working with strictly perio patients.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Okay, so I hope I explained the course well. The question is, what questions do you have further to that? Because again, normally the Greenbelt course I think is about 4,800 US dollars. Dr. Cholakis and I are paying for it. When I do it, it's $9,999. I double my rate because anyways, I double my rate because I'm the founder of that company, which now I'm an owner and I'm further removed. I let somebody else run the company. So I want to help develop our people, and this is my, wow, I never used to like Winnipeg. Never liked Winnipeg because it was so cold in the winter. And 9 years ago, I started traveling every winter, going to Texas, Florida. Okay, so I haven't been back for any winter since 9 years. And now this year has been like a mind-shifting year. We're doing great on COVID cases, probably the safest province to be in, very respectful. We don't have crazy crap going on like they do in the US. We have the best province in the world. I don't know how many provinces there are. We have the best community in the world here. So I thought part of the course itself is to give back to society, give back to community. So I'm going to call Dr. Cholakis' team, the group I'm going to give back to. This is my contribution. And I want to work with you guys to an extreme extent so that we get the value, and Dr. Cholakis gets a lot of value. And me, I get to feel great about giving.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. Again, questions. So the project will be, is the project just then for hygienist sort of hygiene based? Or
No.
if there's another area that we would like to maybe get into, we can work on that project. Is it something that we that kind of is weighted on our heart that we'd like to see changed? Is that sort of
You
how
got
we
it.
pick a project?
Yes, exactly. So here's the beautiful thing. I don't believe in giving somebody something and telling them to do it. I don't believe in that. What I believe in is that in everybody's, you said heart, right? In everybody's heart, they have a desire to do something more, whatever that is. So what are they going to do something more in? And wherever that desire is, that's what we want to build a project around. So, for example, somebody might want to take on safety. Well, that's awesome because we've got a huge safety excellence initiative. Maybe they're the leader of that safety excellence and I'm coaching and developing them to work with others in the group to get us to that point where safety excellence is being met. Maybe it's hygiene, maybe it's something else. I don't know. But let's, for example, let me ask you, Michelle, what is it that's in your heart to do? Or what do you strive to do that's currently not being done?
The first word that comes to my mind is organization, standardization of care, and basically, well, there's three, and communication. All of those things need to be in place in order for the organization to run smoothly. So lack of communication and lack of organization for me go in hand.
That's so great. So those are so broad.
I know.
We could pick almost anything. But kids dental, as an example. We have a weekly steering committee meeting where Kids Dental's involved. We're going to get John involved at some point, from SSG. Dr. Cholakis is involved, and we're giving them updates of what we're doing, right? Every Wednesday, we're giving them updates. So yours is so broad, like broad brush, you could almost take any project that you're interested in. So I'm going to share with you the projects we have, and you pick one that you think is great. So that's what we'll do for your project. John says, George, I want to get into the training. And he said this on Friday. And I said, John, there's a right time and a wrong time to get into the training. The right time is when you're unhappy with the status quo. It's kind of interesting. It's like, are you unhappy? And I don't know if he's unhappy enough to actually fix the problem once and for all, whatever the problem is. So that's kind of the thing for us is what problem do we see? And that's why I say let's get started after a week or two, because you might see something that you say, wow, George, we need to fix this desperately. It's causing us a lot of chaos and wow, if we fix this, we would do so much better at Cholakis Dental. Great, that's what we want. Okay. So very broad.
Okay, so
very broad.
As a team leader, what does that entail?
Okay.
If you're chosen as a team leader.
So let's talk about where this team leader concept came from. It's important because we don't have team leaders today, do we?
In the world or at the office?
At the office.
No.
In the world.
It's a free-for-all.
That's a good one. Yeah, so I'm a little concerned about that, and I'll tell you where this comes from. All the training that's in the online course has come from the Toyota way of doing things. Okay. The Toyota way of doing things has spawned lean manufacturing, operational excellence, and many other initiatives around the world. And we're using that as a benchmark. What's a benchmark? It's something to look at and strive for and maybe improve, right? Okay, if you were to ask, what's the most important thing of the Toyota way? George, what's the most important thing? I would say one thing. It would be the group leader, team leader concept, because that is the heartbeat of the entire system. It's like ripping the heart out of an organization when you don't have team leaders or group leaders making improvement every day, looking at the standard, improving the standard, you might as well be a dying organization. That's why I need team leaders. I need to identify anybody interested in becoming a team leader. We'll develop their skills. I'll be coaching them directly to pick up the skills and do this. And just as an example, let's talk about an example. John is already the managing director, and John is excellent at what he does, okay? But everybody can get better, even executives. So John says, and I got it right here because I was working with John a little while ago. Okay, John says, I said, John, what one thing do you think you need to improve? And he says, well, I got to get to saying no. I got to get to saying no. Well, that's a good one, John. But before you say no, you could go around saying no to everybody. But before you start saying no, why don't we get to the point where you're saying, I don't know? Because there's a lot of questions you're being asked, and you're giving everybody answers. And maybe that's not what we need to do. Maybe you need to give everybody more questions so they can answer it for themselves, so they're building their capability. More important to me than giving anybody an answer. And sometimes your answers are certain, and I could tell you, well, I'm not so certain that they're certain answers. So you're reaching and you're stretching because you believe people want you to have the answers. I'm a little concerned. So let's get for you to say no, but let's start with I don't know. Let's start using those words. For me, when you don't know something, say I don't know, and end of story. That's a great answer because now I can figure it out. Then you get to, I know my workload and I know my capacity, what I can do, and we're going to decide what you can do, what you can't do. And then that's step 2. I know my load and my capacity. That's step 2. And then when somebody wants to bring it into the frozen zone, in other words, you're doing something every day and somebody wants something else, you could say no, and you should say no. Good. We want to get to no, but we're not there yet. You can't go from step A to step Z. We gotta go through this migration. So that's what I'm working with John. And as team leaders, every team leader is going to have a gap in their learning. I'm going to give them an audio book, or give them a book, or give them articles, or give them videos to watch to build them up as team leaders. And safe to say that in 6 months, every team leader here will be doing a great job of developing themselves and being able to develop others. That's the key. I can't tell you what that's worth, but it's at least 10,000 US if you ask me, not what's on the online course. Okay, in training. So, yeah.
I guess the third one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, are we done with that topic?
Well, I think you're asking about the team leader, and I'm saying
Oh, yeah, sorry.
we're not there yet for anybody being a team leader in my mind, but we need to figure it out real quick because we got to develop the team leader. It's not about where we are, it's about where we're going to be. And if somebody's motivated to do it, I know they'll do it. So we got to figure out how we're going to collect information. The team leader is going to have a WhatsApp group for their team. They're going to collect information. They're going to bring it into our team leader meeting, which I'll hold once a week. That team leader meeting is going to be so valuable because we're going to start sharing with each other what we can and we shouldn't be doing, and creating routine checklists and all sorts of great things that we need at Cholakis Dental. Okay. But
that's a good start to the lack of communication.
Yes, but the lack of communication needs a communication strategy. So I think
Exactly.
we don't have one. We don't have a newsletter. We don't have weekly notices that affect everybody. It was pointed out in our Wednesday meeting. So somebody might want to take that on as a side project. How do we do a communication strategy? I'll give you an example. A long time ago, 2011, I said, I want to travel the world consulting over the internet. Well, I do that now. But guess what? With COVID, I'm stuck. I can't go anywhere. I had two of my speaking engagements canceled. I'm in Winnipeg. If I leave, I got to quarantine. If I come back, I got to quarantine. I said, there's no way I'm going to waste my time. I want to work with a great company in Winnipeg. And I worked with Cholakis in the past. Okay, so, but what did I do? I said, in order for me to be effective, I should learn how to videotape and render videos and be good at it so that I can do one meeting and make it everybody's meeting. I learned a skill. So if somebody already has the skill of creating a newsletter, identifying what everybody needs to know in the clinic, wants to take on the communication as part of what we do, please let me know. We desperately need it. And then we'll assign you to the wall and say, here's our communication strategy, and we're going to implement that strategy over the next 3 months. That's a great little project, yellow belt project. A green belt project is about problem solving, so it's a bigger project.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but what I meant was having the weekly meetings of the team leaders so that you don't feel like you're an island. Everybody's voice is being heard, and it's brought together in a respectful format.
Yes, we're going to do that. And
So
we already started.
That's good.
We already started with
Yeah.
the groups, but no, we have to do the team leaders. It's a different discussion. It's
Absolutely.
like, how do we solve this problem?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess, and then the third and final, so I guess to know what the ultimate goal is, I feel that the general thing is that we're not working hard enough. And so it's about
Oh, no.
more production.
No.
But in talking to you, it sounds more like it's to learn to do things a better way, to be happier and healthier in our work environment, and then the financial rewards will follow.
You're so right. So whatever you said is perfect. Let me, yeah. Well, there's no question there. What you said is perfect.
Okay.
But let's talk about this and break it up a little bit. There's two things going on. Number one, everybody should recognize the results of something are part of the process. So the results are only a byproduct. What's the process you're improving? If you improve a process, you get the results. And it's just a matter of what process do you want to work on to get better results. And when I say better results, they shouldn't come as hard as they're coming now. I look at what we're doing now, and it's like a beehive, but 3 different nests all over each other, and nobody knows what's happening. So that's just my observation. It's really ugly. You don't even want to know if I was being brutally honest, what I would say. So my vision, which is being shared, and which is now Dr. Cholakis' vision, is that we all operate with some clearly defined values. Good. What are those values? Well, safety, number one. We have to introduce sanitize habits everywhere. And there's this thing called the power hour, but it's really a 5-minute 5S. Okay. At the top of every hour, everybody at the front desk should stand up, clean, sanitize, and then sit down. It's part of their daily routine. Maybe it takes a minute, not 5 minutes. All sorts of habits we need to create are, right now, they're called a routine, and they're going to go away if we don't audit them. And if we don't have a team leader demonstrating exactly how it should be done. It's all going to go away. Nice idea. We do it for a day or two. It goes away. So we need team leaders for that. Every process delivers results. So I don't want anybody working harder, especially John. I don't want John working any harder. I want John working smarter. And he's got currently some habits that he needs to change, which is so hard. Change those habits to work smarter. So I really deep down, if you look at my character, I really want to help. And I can't help without people recognizing what they're doing wrong and making advances. And I'll help them every day to make sure they make advances towards what they want to do in life. So, yes, whatever you said is perfect, but I have to say, habit change is not easy. And there's this thing called habit design. I'm going to help everybody design new habits so that they can do what they want to do. As an example, I was over 300 pounds, and I got to say, I'm getting back, and I'm not happy. I was over 300 pounds, and I said, okay, I got to lose some weight. So what's the habit? Get up, walk around the block, and then I walked more, and then I walked 32,000 steps in a day, and I climbed up a mountain. What happens is you start with a small habit, you take on more challenge, you do more. I lost 70 pounds.
Good for you.
Yeah, I sure did. It was awesome. And then I gained 50 back. That's where I'm at now. And I still walk every day, but something's changed. Now, Dr. Cholakis represents a great opportunity because I kind of don't eat in the mornings. I don't have breakfast. And I invited a doctor, so he told me it's great, George, doing the keto diet and all that. So I don't have breakfast. Then when I go to work, I don't eat there. So at the end of the day, I have my one meal a day, which is perfect. I eat too much, but that's okay. I'm still going down in weight. There's things I'm introducing in my life that change that habit that I want to destroy, and I'm replacing the old habit with a new habit. That's what we all need to be doing. But what is it? Towards what end? And it's not working harder. It's not more stress. It's less stress, doing it right, staying the course, and getting better results at the same time.
Yes. Well, I feel energized talking to you and have a renewed hope because it's walking into chaos central, as I jokingly call the office. It's not a nice feeling because you're almost you are hit with a wall of negative energy. And so coming from in at night, it's very difficult. So I really hope that these habits can be replaced with positive habits. It's
They can. Half the time we don't know how. That's the problem.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
And so I don't have the book here. It's in my thing, but I've been looking at habit design for the last 5 years. And a behavior is what we want. A behavior is made up of the motivation, the ability, and a trigger. So for example, the front desk, what's the trigger for them to stand up, sanitize, and sit down? What's the trigger? And I'm going to suggest if an alarm clock's not going off every hour, if we leave it to people forget. Sometimes they don't show up at work. It's not going to work. You need a trigger. Now that trigger being number one. Number two, are you motivated to do it? Well, we should all be motivated for safety excellence. And in this case, we're in the middle of a pandemic. People are getting way too relaxed. And I'm really not happy about that. But so am I. I'm getting relaxed too.
Yes.
So I can't fight that. But we need the motivation to just do better. And then motivation, the ability. Yes, we can all do it. Do we have the ability? Well, that's part of the challenge. When you have a customer there and you stand up and you sanitize in the middle of taking their payment, do they care? Well, they actually might be impressed.
Yes.
They might be impressed that we're doing this. And I would suggest that when we create routines at work and we follow those routines and we have a team leader doing a little sign off to make sure they get done, it only takes 20 days. That routine becomes a habit. Mm-hmm. So all of this can be done. We can design new habits and we need leadership. It's interesting that the one word 10 years ago when I created this book and online course, not even 10 years ago, but when I started, I asked Jeff Liker, this is the author of The Toyota Way, best-selling author, huge in the industry. I said, what's missing? And he said, in one word, leadership. That's what's missing, George. And that's what's missing at Cholakis. Leadership, not management. We've got lots of management. We need leadership, and that's what I want to develop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we're going to develop
That's
those habits.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's it for my questions.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why? You want more questions? I don't know what to say.
Yeah, well,
It's
I need more.
so
I need more practice. I'm trying to help John answer questions only.
yeah.
So if you ask more, then I'm exactly like John. I just want to go do it. I want to go fix it, do it. It's an internal drive. I resist that drive because my number one priority is not to do things. My number one priority is to develop people on how to do things.
Right.
Yeah.
I pretty much it's hard to until you get in to have questions, as you start the journey to get, then questions will arise. But no, it was the big thing was more the whole idea of what we were trying to do at Cholakis, and then the role of the leaders, the team leaders was the next biggest one.
Yeah.
So, and I guess the third thing is, the commitment level of the individual is one thing, but upper management, their commitment level to this.
Good that you ask. Who is upper management? I think we're talking, give me a list. Give me a list of who you think upper management is.
Well, ultimately, Dr. Ernest. And then he's the top. And then from there, it will be the doctors. Upper management really then it would go Ernest, sort of, and then John.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody else does other things, is how I see the organization.
Okay. I can't speak for John. I talked to John and I told you, until you're unhappy with the status quo, John, there's no point taking this course.
Right.
I don't think he's there yet.
No.
But Dr. Ernest, let's quickly talk about Dr. Ernest. I've been having frank conversations with Dr. Ernest, and true to how I know Dr. Ernest, he's always looking to improve. Always.
Yes.
And he is 100% plus on board.
Okay.
You would see that in our Wednesday meetings if you showed up for the Wednesday meetings, but we do have minutes to our Wednesday meetings, and we're all learning as we go. We're all learning as we go, for sure. But what is Dr. Ernest going to do? What would Dr. Ernest do differently? This year, after COVID now, we're talking, after the COVID break, we're talking, because we're still in the COVID, Dr. Ernest is doing half the crowns he used to in a day.
Okay.
Now, I said to him, a little facetiously, but still, it's a good question. Why? You're making less money. Why would you do that? And to my delight, he points to the board. He says, George, I want patient delight. That's the value that I'm serving. And by the way, I'm really enjoying talking to my patients. It's awesome. So he's doing a great job. Every half hour, he wants to meet with the hygienist and the patient every half hour so that they're never buzzing him. And by the way, the buzzing system's, going to get organized too. So Dr. Cholakis is 100% on board, but on board what? Two topics, safety excellence and operational excellence. We're developing what's called the Cholakis production system because it involves both, and we have to find a way to make them balance. And at the same time, what's the expectation that we're getting better every day, better every single day? Good. We're not there yet. but we will. We will be. So why wouldn't you be on board? It's like a no-brainer. But I can tell you deep down in his heart, from what I see, he's on board. He's answered everything correctly.
Okay.
And he's willing to improve. Wow.
Good. No, that's a relief as well, because the word production can have a negative connotation into the, they have the hygiene production that we have to produce so much an hour. I get that, but it's also like you feel like you have a gun to your head. And so then there's the bonus that's applied with doing that. And so the word production is right now has a negative connotation to me for sure. And some of the other hygienists have mentioned a sort of similar feeling. So just to know that it's not all about making more money, it's and doing more in less time. It's that it's working to create and maintain those relationships with our bread and butter, meaning the patients.
Yeah, so let's, I think everybody's part of a different building block for what's called the Cholakis production system. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. Production is a bad word in a bureaucratic organization. It's a good word in an enabling organization, an organization that says, here's the current standard, here's how we do it currently, and by the way, it's there to be improved. We can improve on the current standard. Show us how. Okay. An enabling organization does not look at production as a bad word. That's what we're going to be, and therefore it's going to change. Now, number two, as a hygienist, we've talked, John, myself, and Dr. Cholakis, and we said the hygienist value stream, let's call it a value stream, customers coming in, is the cornerstone of our business. Which means everybody should know if we're not optimizing patient delight, as an example, in that value stream, we're missing opportunities. The business isn't growing as fast or as large as it could. So that's one understanding that we've all formalized. Number two, what is a cornerstone? A cornerstone is a block that in the old days, like pyramid time, they used to put it down and they used to say every dimension comes off of that cornerstone. Like every dimension in the building is off of that cornerstone. That's exactly what we got with the hygiene value stream. Every dimension that we have in the Cholakis production system, the pyramid, whatever you want to call it, it comes off of that cornerstone. So it is actually about production to some degree because we need to produce. We produce, we make money, and we can take on more clients. We can build education programs around our people. We can educate, we can communicate, we can do all these great things. The fact that it's looked at negatively now, production as a word, it just implies that we got a long way to go before it's positive. Okay? Everything that we figure out we can use is going to be part of the Cholakis production system. In other words, tools. We haven't done root cause analysis well. We're going to use that as a tool. So, yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I know you're distracted.
No, sorry, my daughter just walked by.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually intrigued, and you're inspiring. So I see the potential of all the practices involved in the Cholakis group, and I'm excited.
Yeah, there's huge potential. Yeah, huge potential. I love it too. I'm excited too every day. And my challenge is not doing too much work for you guys because I got another client here and another one there. But I mean, at some point we may have a meeting of the minds, Dr. Cholakis and I, because I love working with you guys. I just see so much potential in the people.
Good.
Yeah.
And I find some of the younger ones too. Let's grow them earlier.
Yes.
And help them bloom instead of being burnt out.
You know, what a great thought. I do self-development training with a lot of people, and one of the things I thought about is, when do they need to self-develop? It's already too late as adults. I mean, they're already fixed in their mindset. Why don't we go to high schools, elementaries, and teach them there? And that's, you know, maybe one of the things we're going to do with a new course that I want to develop. Here, check it out. My job today is 10 steps to self-development. Right? I want to create, yeah, I got to create these 10 steps because there's 3 of us, one person in Belgium, another one in Winnipeg, the president here, and myself, and one more in the Netherlands. Oh yeah, my company's global. I got somebody in China. Yeah, I got my book translated in Russian lately, so it's in Russian now. Yeah, it's pretty big. Anyways, we're developing a course on self-development, and the key is self-reliance. You got to rely on yourself, and if you want to do things quick, you need a coach. That coach will help you shrink what you want to accomplish. You need a coach. Okay, there's so many people in Winnipeg at companies that just don't understand, don't have a hot clue of how much potential they're leaving on the table with their employees. Not a hot clue, they're just clueless. Thank God Dr. Cholakis is not one of them.
Yes. Well, and I think that then you like just talking, like chatting, I've stopped revealing what I know, because if you reveal that it's just more and more is piled onto you, people around you will add to your pile.
Wow.
I mean, I've been around for a while.
Yeah.
So, and I've worked in different areas, and so to come in and see some spots that could be improved, that's part of the reason why I didn't want to do general practice anymore.
Wow. Okay, so that's another problem. And it's the responsibility of the leader of the organization. I wish I had my coffee.
I'm sorry, I know that's
No,
but it was...
I just drank it, is what I'm saying. I wish I had another one. And I got my coffee machine right here. I don't go far, right? It's just an arm length, but it makes noise. So guess what? It's the leader's job to make sure that knowledge is transferred in a positive way, not a negative way. And they should be bringing out from everybody, what do you know? How can we improve? And that's the leader's job. So if you're getting stuff piled on you, and this is an article I sent John just today, you're getting stuff piled on you, you actually asked for it in many ways. It's like you're taking monkeys off other people's backs and putting them on yours. So I will attach down here a link to a Harvard Business Review article I sent John. And John does this very well, and I've noticed it. I had a chat with John, and John's telling me stuff, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I want to help with that. Hey John, how about this? So it's funny, John draws us in because he shares issues. And I told John, I don't want you to share issues with me anymore. I got enough problems, right? And you're in the same boat. I got enough problems. I'm going to stop, you stop talking to people. But I'm creating a little process that says we always need to share our knowledge, but the issue is, unless you have the capability of taking a problem and solving the problem as a coach, now as a leader, you're the coach, then don't do it for anybody. So that's why I need leaders. That's why I need team leaders. I don't want to do it for you. I could do it for you. I don't want to do it for you. Me doing it for you does not grow our business. It makes it weaker. Because if I ever go away,
then they rely on you too much.
True. So what would you do differently? That's my question to you. Knowing what you know now, what would you do differently?
Well, I'm trying to do it a little bit more at the office, is I see a problem So I offer some suggestions as to how it could be improved. I try with my conversations to not be upset or angry, and not let myself get to that point. What I do is, and like for John, I will, because he's sort of the go-to. I feel that Dr. Ernest is untouchable, and he doesn't want to be approached. I've had some run-ins in the past with him, so I just do not go there. But everybody treats him the same way, so you just don't bother Ernest at all. So John is sort of the go-to, so I will offer some suggestions or point things out, but again, offer the suggestions.
Okay, so I've got a different policy. Here's my policy. If you see a problem, you own the problem.
Okay.
Interesting, because now, as a leader, my job is to help develop you as a problem solver. What skills are you missing to implement? Let's talk about that. Let's work together. Let's do it together. You're doing all the work. I'm doing all the coaching. Guess whose responsibility it is to complete that project successfully?
Myself.
No. Both of us, absolutely. I got to take responsibility for coaching and developing you. If I don't, in my opinion, I'm a useless person. I've done absolutely nothing but allow you to see problems, take on more problems, and that's what you're talking about. Now I got like 50 problems I can't do anything with, nobody's helping me. It's my responsibility to make sure you're not overwhelmed. There's a zone where you got too little stress, and that's just not good for productivity. And it's not good for the human psyche anyways. We need to be actively busy up here. Yeah. And there's a zone where there's too much stress. Good. Then you're in the hospital. Then you're in the...
John Kay's living there right now.
Yeah. Then you're in the hospital. But let's call it the John zone.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's the John zone, too much stress. But then there's the Goldilocks zone, which is where I want to live. Just the right amount. You know, not too hot, not too cold. It's beautiful. Okay, that's where we need to live. So that's where the big difference comes in. My ability to grow the organization is directly related to my ability to coach and develop people. That's it.
Okay.
So,
well, I think, okay, so my perception too, like I've been working at the office on and off in some sort of a capacity for the last 10 years.
Great.
So obviously there's something there because I keep going back. It's not that I never quit, it's just as hours.
Let's peel that back. I want to know what it is. I've been a patient of Dr. Cholakis for like 20 years. Okay. Joanne, my wife, we're like fiance for the last year. We were going to get married during this COVID time. Not working. It's okay. We've been together 10 years. We've traveled the world. Okay. You know, Australia, New Zealand, everywhere. We've been everywhere. South Korea, anyways. So nice. I had a bucket list. I knocked everything off my bucket list about 5 years ago. Now I'm looking to donate my time, deliver huge value, help as many people as I can. It's like at my funeral, somebody will say, how much did George leave behind? And somebody else should be saying, everything. He left everything behind. All the energy I have. Okay. I'm leaving everything behind. I want to do as much as I can every day. So, Joanne, her first time she went to Cholakis for her ortho appointment was with Billy Wiltshire. Yeah. So I come home, I tell her I got a meeting with Dr. Wiltshire today at 8 p.m. And I was like Monday this week. She says, you mean Billy? I said, yeah. How do you know? Well, I was his second patient. And so that was 20 years ago? 20 years ago. Yeah. Amazing. 21 years ago, she told me. So why do people stay with Dr. Cholakis and the team? Why have you stayed for 10 years when things aren't as good as they could be?
Well, ultimately it was financial, but it's nausea.
Well, financial.
But it's financial. But it's ultimately it was financial. Ultimately it was financial. But it's nausea. But it's nausea. But it's financial. But it's financial. But it's nausea. 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 But it's financial. But it's na
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I didn't work in the other thing. So I actually met Nasia at the university.
Mhm.
And that's when she was the director. And she contacted me. Um, Sort of the short version, I had started. I was a good fit in the university. Apparently, the patients really liked me. I work well by myself. Like I'm not a problem employee. So then I got sick and had to take some time off. And when I returned, there was a different director. And so kind of parted ways for a little bit. But then I got a call because the hygienist that was working at the Grad Perio, she was going on a mat leave. And I saw the ad, but after I had been treated by the not Nasia, but the other director, I was refused. I would never go back to work there. So I was working in another office, which is even more chaotic, the Cholakis. Anyhow, Nasia called me personally, and she said, "I really need you." And I had just agreed to this other place to try and help them get their practice on board. And so I said, okay. But I took this other position, and she said, it doesn't matter, whatever you can give me, I need your help. I'm like, okay. Mm-hmm. Then stuff at the other office was just whatever, and I actually quit on the spot, phoned Nasia right away and said, if you have the full-time hours, I will take them. And she was like, thank you. Then when we were job sharing as the hygienist came back, that other person was not as reliable as maybe she should have been. Mm-hmm. So basically Nasia gave me hours at the private practice because she didn't want me going somewhere else. She had a plan in place that there would be one hygienist at the clinic to sort of oversee everything at the university and talking to me. So it was her having confidence in me and then helping me to keep going so that we could end up where we wanted to be.
That's so awesome.
So it's more Nasia.
But I think with Nasia, what was it? Is it that you're valued?
Well, that, but also Nasia is approachable. There's something about her. I mean, she runs around like a chicken with her head cut off too. But there's just something about her. I want to help her do better, to be better.
Right.
Like, but it's you know what? She values me. I feel that she values me.
Okay, so I nailed it. She values you.
Yeah.
It's interesting because we got the same kind of experience, but I have it with Ernest.
And see, I don't see that. I actually didn't think he actually knew what my name was.
Oh, good to know. So I've never met Nasia, I don't think.
Okay.
It's interesting because I've always known Ernest. Now, how did I know Ernest? He was my dentist way back, and my kids used to go there. My ex-wife used to go there. One day in 2008, six, I was in the chair after the hygienist, and I'm waiting for Ernest. I waited 15 minutes. I basically had enough. And I said, Ernest, everybody's adopting patient first. Like, the patient is more important than the doctor. You guys really suck at that.
Yeah.
And I'm doing lean manufacturing everywhere. Why aren't you taking advantage? And he says, okay, come on in, let's do it. And that was like, and I put him in my first book. I put Cholakis Dental in my first book. And then we've always had that value. That, I've always wanted to help him. He draws in loyalty. He does. That's maybe...
you know what? He's a very powerful and emotional speaker. When he puts his Christmas speech on, it's like, and he's so grateful and all of that. You know what, George? It's wonderful, and you feel wow, but you don't feel that a lot of the time throughout the year. And I almost wonder if sometimes, because he comes across as he's on the mountain, and we're not allowed up the mountain. You don't ask him questions, you don't bother him, you don't do this. But this is also how the staff has been. I'll share an interesting thing, because I had started working with John Cholakis. John actually asked me to stay to see his patients, but I had a patient that was in, and it was a combined case, and they handed me an overdenture that was about $15,000. And the patient did, and she had brought it from the lab and was to go to Dr. Cholakis. He was seeing it the next week. Okay, so I take this thing, and I see him at the little area where the CBCT machine is, and I give it to him, and I say, this is from so-and-so, this is what you're doing next week with them, where would you like me to put it? And he was in the texting or something, but he looked at me, and it was like, why are you asking me? And I was kind of taken aback. This is my first night there. And I said, because I don't know where you want it, and I'm not going to be further responsible for this. And then all of a sudden, I see out of the corner of my eye Cindy going like this, and then he dismissed me, and it was, go talk to who and who. And I'm like, I don't know who that is. This is my first night here. And then he's like, well, put it in the Winnebago, which again, I said, and what is that? And anyway, it was just a terrible first encounter.
Right.
But I used to be more of a doormat. So I love being in my 50s now. I was so intimidated. I would never talk to him.
So two things you point out there, interesting. We need an orientation for new employees because we suck at it, number one. And number two, I think there are times, well, I think number two would be a criticism to Dr. Cholakis. And what's a criticism? It's an opportunity for improvement. Would be, at least say hello and introduce what is the standard, like don't bother me during the day, please go to this person, or whatever the case, whatever. So we're not failing, right? That's very good. I look at that, and that's a great example. Opportunity for improvement.
And I don't even know if he would remember, which is fine, but again, it's still, when I actually don't know, because he's really good, right? Because he's got such a huge patient base, you can't always remember everybody's name. And I get that. I'm in the same. But I don't think he knows anything about me. He knows his key people, a little bit about them, but I don't know if he really knows who we are.
I'd love it if we as team leaders, right, were to put a little profile together. So let's talk about who you are for a second, because he will know who you are after this, I hope. But tell me a couple great things about you, maybe three, and I'll do the same.
Okay. I'm funny.
Not so far. Not so far. Not so far.
Well, you haven't given me an opportunity.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah. What else?
Well, I am funny. I think I can win people over very quickly. I work very hard.
Yeah.
And I'm very caring.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. You know what? You should smile more often.
Actually, it's funny because everybody, this is scary, George.
Yeah.
I came to fill in because Lorraine is not coming back, and
Right.
and neither is Megan. So there's only me that can do perio, or will do perio. Everybody was so excited. They thought I was back full time, and I couldn't figure out why they're so excited. And it's like they just love working with me, and I'm like, I don't know why, but it was nice because like all the hygienists were like, oh, she's here. The assistants, everybody. It was just like, oh, she's here.
That must have felt
they
good.
call me Sunshine at the university.
Oh, okay. But I can tell you right now, first impressions, if you're not smiling, I'm not talking to you, you know?
Yeah.
When you're smiling.
Which is hard now. We have to have more expressive eyes.
Yeah, you light up the room. You know what we should do with the masks, if we can find a way to write on them, which you're not supposed to, but put a smiling face on there. That'd be nice.
You can buy masks
with
that
smiles?
have smiley faces on them.
Oh, maybe John should do that. That'd be awesome. Okay, and the other thing I thought about at the front door, we all want to shake hands. We should have like a rubber hand where we can shake a hand and then we disinfect it each time. You know, because people want to shake hands. I don't know.
Yeah.
Great idea. Okay, so 3 things about me. Number 1, I love Joanne.
Awesome.
She's probably the only person that'll tell me things like, George, being humble is being sexy. And she knows my Japanese sensei. We've invited him over to Washington, D.C. when I picked up an award. Oh, here's my award. It's pretty heavy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's got his name on it. It's Shingo Research Award. His dad invented this award and was celebrated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, his dad is dead, but he represents, Ritzel represents like world-class companies. Worked at Toyota for 40 years, and he's been teaching me. Yeah. So, and he's so humble, you wouldn't know it. You put us together, you think, oh, that guy's really good at what he does. And the other guy, Ritzel Shingo, slips away in the background, and he's like 10 times smarter than me. You know. So she says, humble is sexy. So Joanne will tell me things I need to know that I don't get from everybody else. So I love Joanne. Number 2, I got 2 wonderful daughters. One isn't talking to me as much as she should. Yeah. The other one is married and has a baby, so I got a granddaughter too.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. And because of WhatsApp, I get pictures and videos every day. Every day, bring a smile to my face. Okay. And then number 3, I guess, would be, I even made a joke about it. It's not true. That the only thing better than Joanne is the fact that I love my job. Okay, I made a joke about it. She was not happy. Yeah, because I love going to Cholakis. I love working with people there. I just love the human interaction. You know, the second best thing is internet and video like we're doing now. But the first best thing is to be right there. Okay, that's 3 things about me.
I like how it wasn't characteristics. It was good things in your life.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't like, I've seen many of my friends who I now have a hard time with. You know, one guy's got a motorcycle. I got this motorcycle, it's worth $30,000. I'm actually impersonating Trump, I don't know why. I got a motorcycle, it's really good, really good. Anyways, and they look at the possessions, but you're leaving all that crap behind, man. Haven't you figured it out?
Sure.
It's about people and our relationship that's more important. And that's the other thing with hygienists. Our relationship with our patients, so critical. I love working on that. Okay, I think we're almost done.
I think so, yeah.
I want to know in the next 2 weeks what you love doing, what you're passionate about, and obviously the education is going to be excellent. So pick a project out of the 43 projects that we have on the list, or pick 2 or 3 projects that...
Can you send me a screenshot?
Yeah.
Or is it on, like, do
it's
we
on
have
the wall.
like a group?
It's on the wall, and I'm going to send it to you. I'll email you the list of projects. And when I
Perfect.
do that, you can kind of glance at them, and then we'll put your name on the wall and the 3 projects. I think as a green belt, I want you to have 3. As a yellow belt, you got to pick 1. Okay. So we'll put your name on the wall, list you as the owner, and I will coach and develop you and help you. So I'm really the customer, you're the deployment leader, you know?
Yes.
And Dr. Cholakis is the customer for everybody. So it's kind of interesting. So it's going to be wonderful.
Does he decide who's doing this, or we're deciding? Because
I get to decide. Yeah, I get to decide. So it's going to be John and I. Like, let's be honest. John and myself are going to be looking at 2 things, because I don't know you as well as maybe John does. Does the person have the ability to do it or the desire? That's the 2 things I'm asking. Are they motivated enough? I'm going to determine the motivation. Like I would put you as a 10 out of 10. You know, wants to improve, sees the benefit of improving, and you're what, 50, over 50 years old, you said. Oh my God, perfect, right? So am I, awesome. Let's show these young kids how to do it. Okay, anyway, so I'll determine the motivation, John will help me with the ability, and then we're gonna pick the right projects for the right people, and I will guarantee your success.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just try your best.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And at the end of this, you'll have an education that's probably better than any MBA you could possibly get into. So not to downplay Dr. Cholakis' MBA or anything.
No, but how do I say it? Certain programs teach you to the theories, but other programs teach you the how.
Yeah.
And we need to do how, not think about it.
Yeah. So I'm going to say you're right and you're wrong. Number 1, we need to do both. Okay. So that's the first thing you learn with operational excellence. It's not about one or the other. That's called a sucker's choice. Pick this or that. It's called a sucker's choice. I've been presented with the sucker's choice about 100 times with John, and I told him, stop doing that. You know, John, this or that, he says. It's either this or that. And I'm going, in my mind, I haven't told him that. You're presenting me with a sucker's choice. We can do them all, you know?
Yeah.
So here's the rule. For every hour of education over the computer, to learn the skill, we should do 20 hours of practice in real life. Mm-hmm. So what you've got is, yeah, you're probably more right than wrong, because 95% is about experiencing, learning by doing. Learning by doing, critical. And we you know, I teach that in the course. So everything I do, you'll see in video, as well as Dr. Jeff Leiker, you'll see it in the video. And any supporting information that I think 3 or 4 students might need, we're going to have a group chat, and I'll do a video and I'll send it to you. So you guys are like right on the same page.
Perfect.
Yeah. I want to thank you for letting me record this.
You're welcome.
I want to thank you for letting me share with Dr. Cholakis.
Natural. This is a new thing for me, because usually I do makeup and stuff, but I'm embracing me.
Well, and this is what I look like.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you see me, just look for the head.
Yeah.
I love it. We're going to do so good. I thank you again. And
you're welcome. Well, thank you. It's been a wonderful pleasure and a good way to start a Saturday.
Yeah, me too. Great way. Take care. And I'll send this video to everybody, including Dr. Cholakis. He needs to hear. Yeah. That's not. Look, we all need to learn, and the only way we learn is by hearing and listening. We got 2 ears and 1 mouth. We should listen twice as much as we talk. I have a hard time. I'm so sorry. I have a hard time with that. Okay, I can get better.
I just have to put you in my chair, and then I can be the conversation.
Yeah.
I'll put my hands in your
mouth. So, George, what do you think of this? And Lord knows I need teeth. I showed Billy my teeth, and he says, George, maybe we work on you. So, because Joanne's teeth were worse, and then 20 years ago she fixed them. She's got perfect teeth now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. You take care. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Oh, yeah. I'm working all day. I'll enjoy it for sure. Okay.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Bye bye.